I was home alone one night during winter break. It was a freezing Thursday evening, and my parents had gone out of town to visit relatives. I decided to stay behind because I had assignments to finish and honestly just wanted a few quiet days to myself. We live in a quiet neighborhood, not far from a wooded area. That night, I was relaxing in the living room, curled up under a heavy blanket. It was cold outside. I was snacking on chips and watching some random movie. I can't even remember the name of it now. At some point, maybe halfway into the movie, the sensory light outside the driveway turned on. We have that light installed on the side of the house, just above the garage door. It only turns on when someone or something moves out there. The sudden brightness caught my eye through the bottom of the blinds. I paused the TV and turned the volume down a bit. My first thought was it was a raccoon or maybe a stray dog. But I didn't hear anything. No shuffling, no footsteps, nothing. Still, curiosity got the better of me. I stood up, walked over to the window beside the main door, and carefully lifted one slat of the blinds just enough to peek outside. There was nothing there, just the glowing driveway, empty and silent. The light eventually clicked off. I figured it was just some small animal passing through and went back to my movie. Tried to relax. About 15 minutes later, I heard something fall outside. It was a hard clatter, like metal hitting pavement. I paused the movie again, and then the motion light turned back on. This time, something didn't feel right. I sat perfectly still. My eyes locked on the window near the front of the house. The light was on, but I couldn't see anyone. I wanted to believe it was just the wind knocking something over, but there wasn't any wind that night. The trees weren't even swaying. I stayed seated for a while, heart beating a little faster, until the light went off again. A few more minutes passed in silence. I reached for the TV remote to turn it off, thinking maybe I should just go to bed upstairs, when I saw a shadow pass quickly across the window facing the side yard. I froze. It was fast, but I definitely saw it. It was tall, human-shaped, and close. I didn't move. I just stared at the window, waiting for the light to come back on. A second later, it did. And this time, someone was standing under it. Not walking, not passing through. Standing, directly in the center of the driveway, just outside the edge of the window. He was wearing a dark coat, maybe a hoodie. I couldn't make out his face. His arms were slightly away from his sides, like he was holding something or just. I dropped to the floor next to the couch, hiding behind it, heart racing. I didn't want him to see me through the blinds. I reached for my phone on the coffee table, trying to stay as quiet as possible. Right then, I heard footsteps, crunching slowly across the gravel, moving toward the front porch. I could hear them getting closer. I couldn't bring myself to stand up, but from the corner of the room, I could still see a sliver of the window next to the door. And through that sliver, I saw a shape lean toward the glass. He was right there, just inches away from the front door. I stayed low and silent, praying he would just go away. But then he started knocking. 3 hard knocks, then silence. Then again, 3 more knocks. Slower this time. I wanted to scream, but my throat felt frozen. I slowly backed toward the hallway that led to the kitchen, and then upstairs. But as I reached the hallway, I heard something even worse. The back door handle jiggling. Someone was trying to open it. I realized there were 2 people. I didn't know what else to do. I ran upstairs into the bathroom, locked the door, and called the police. I told them 2 people were trying to get into the house, one at the front, one at the back. The dispatcher stayed on the phone with me and told me to remain locked in the room until the police arrived. She said they'd be there in 5 to 10 minutes. That was the longest 10 minutes of my life. While I was hiding there, crouched near the tub, I suddenly heard a loud bang, glass shattering somewhere downstairs. It sounded like the basement window. My breath caught in my throat. I heard footsteps, slow, deliberate ones, moving inside the house. I pressed myself into the corner of the bathroom and gripped the toilet lid like a weapon. The footsteps got louder, coming up the stairs. Then they stopped. Everything went silent. And then, after what felt like an eternity, I heard sirens. Then a loud knock on the front door, this time followed by the voice of a police officer. I cracked open the bathroom door and peered down the hallway. No one was there. I carefully crept downstairs, shaking, and opened the door for the officers. They came in with flashlights, checking the entire house. They found the broken basement window. Someone had entered through it, but no one was there anymore. They must have fled the second they heard the sirens. There were 2 sets of footprints found outside, one going around to the back, one at the driveway. Both disappeared into the woods. The cops never found them. They suggested it might have been a break-in attempt, maybe a robbery, but nothing was stolen. And nothing explained why they didn't say a word the entire time. Just silence, watching, and knocking. After that night, I didn't stay in that house alone again. I decided to go with my parents wherever they went. When I was 10, something happened that I'll never forget. It was summer, the hottest time of the year, and the nights inside the house were unbearable. So my parents decided we'd all sleep outside in the garden to stay cool. Our house is surrounded by high walls that people can't see through. My mom, dad, and all of us kids carried out the mattresses and set everything up under the stars. It actually felt fun, like an adventure. In the middle of the night, when we were all sleeping, it suddenly started to rain. Heavy drops fell without warning, waking us all up in seconds. Everyone jumped up, grabbing pillows and blankets, and started running back inside the house to escape the downpour. As my brothers ran and my parents hurried toward the door, something made me stop. In the far corner of the veranda, I saw someone. At first, I thought maybe it was a shadow or one of my brothers. But then lightning lit up the sky, and that's when I saw him clearly. There was a man crouched in the corner, completely wear black from head to toe, trying to stay hidden. He didn't move, he didn't speak. He was just watching quotation mark. My whole body froze. My heart was racing. I couldn't get a word out. I felt a wave of cold rush through me. Even though it was still warm outside, I realized I was the only one who saw him. Everyone else had been too focused on the rain. I stared at him, and I knew instantly it wasn't someone from our family. He didn't belong there, and the look in his red eyes made my blood run cold. Finally, I turned and ran inside. We locked the doors and stayed together in the living room. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about the man in the veranda and how long he had been there before the rain started. The next morning, a neighbor came to tell us something terrifying. They saw a strange man sneaking into the neighboring houses at night. He had stolen things from other homes. After they described the man, it turned out to be the same one I saw that night. The only reason nothing happened was because the rain came at the exact right moment and woke everyone up. We also found out that the man had been carrying a large knife. That was the moment I told my parents everything. My parents were horrified. I believe he was waiting for the right moment. I think if I had made some noise and told my parents at that moment, that man would have attacked us with his big knife. After that night, I never felt safe in that house again. And from then on, I decided I would never stay alone.